All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? YouTube and the rest of the world. RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic, I think today's Wednesday. I have to look at my calendar. They all blend together since COVID. But yes, I'm pretty sure today's Wednesday. So happy Wednesday to everybody. Here we are once again, Federal Prison Time Consulting. People helping people, communities method, one day at a time. And today, we have finally broken some ground. It's been a while. We've been talking about it. We should have Jenny hanging out in the room with us, chiming in, which is awesome because she's going to be a big part of what we got coming up here. Now, I'm already seeing people respond to the text. Make sure if you haven't done so, text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our notification text messaging list so you don't miss any of our live streams, and you also catch the replays, but you can catch it in the heat of the moment from your phone without turning on your notifications on YouTube. Some people don't like their notifications on YouTube because maybe they follow like 10,000 people, not just RDAP Dan. So you can always turn on your notifications there, or you can just text the word YouTube to 76626, and that will put you on our text message notification system. So I just got some response text messages from sending out this mass text, of course, to everybody that is subscribed to the text. And a lot of people saw the topic of today's video, first world problems. That may be true. That may be true. When we're talking about, and the topic, the title of the video, white collar prison wives. The reason why I titled that white collar prison wives is it's not just for white collar prison wives. Okay. We've created a brand new Facebook group. It's a private group. It's not public. Anybody is welcome to join as long as they fit the criteria. And what is the criteria? You either have to have a loved one incarcerated. It doesn't have to be federal prison. Just the majority of the people we deal with are federal prison. It doesn't have to be a white collar crime, even though the majority of the individuals we deal with are white collar individuals. But the other big facts here that really will make a difference is there's plenty of Facebook groups out there, which I think we can all agree. You guys have seen them. There's Federal Prison Group. There's Club Fed. These are all great groups, great resources, but we don't need another one of those, right? There's enough of those. So what is going to be a little bit different about ours? The one thing that kind of grinds my gears in some of these Facebook groups are it's a lot of complaining about the damaging of the system, the broken system, visitations. The prisons are always on lockdown. Now, I get that. That's horrible. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a group to voice those concerns, but a lot of these groups, the range of people are so diverse in there, which is great because you get to see other people's stories. However, some of these other Facebook groups are really geared towards more of individuals that are serving like very, very lengthy sentences. Maybe they're in and out of prison. It's not so much a support group for what somebody going through it for the very first time should be looking for and what type of support they can be dealing with and what you should be telling your children. So yes, is it first world problems? Maybe, maybe not. But I can tell you, when I went through this, I myself went through this for the very first time when I got indicted in 2011 and didn't go to prison until 2014. And not just myself, but my children, my loved ones, my ex-wife, the mother of my children, Shelly, my girlfriend, who's my girlfriend to this day. We all went through this together and we didn't know what to expect. There wasn't a whole lot of resources. When I go to Club Fed, and the reason why I don't send a lot of my clients or even refer people to go check this site out, this Facebook group, is because it can almost be a little overwhelming and scary. A lot of these people are, they're in the penitentiary, they're in mediums, they're in high security prison, which is severe and it's horrible. And I really do. My heart goes out for these individuals. But the individuals that we primarily deal with, and it's not because we focus on, wealthy people, the people that come to my channel are typically people that are getting in trouble for the first time. Individuals that, have been in trouble in the past, or they've been down for a long time. They're probably not looking up, what to expect in federal prison or going to a federal prison camp or what's life going to be like after federal prison. These are for the individuals that are going to really be going through this for the first time. So I did battle with how to do this structurally and properly without, pissing off everybody else or trying to come off, conceited or condescending to individuals that are dealing with this. So I assure you that I mean no ill will or disrespect to those of you that have loved ones that are doing some serious time. Not to say a couple of years is not serious time. It's all relevant to whatever you're used to. So let's kind of jump into what this is about. Ruth, how are you doing? And NS, hello, Dan. My sentencing got pushed back because of the snowstorm. Good and bad, right? Getting your sentence pushed back is great, but it's like, I just want to get this over with. So real quick, in the description, and maybe Jenny can grab it out of the description of this video. Jenny, if you can grab the link to the Facebook group. We've created a new Facebook group, guys. Here, let me go take a look over here to show you what we got. So federal prison wives and family members. So it's not just for prison wives. You can have a wife going to prison and the husband can be the one on the back, or a boyfriend or girlfriend or a mother or a son, a daughter. This is for anybody. To put all of that in the title, it's a one gigantic title, right? We've also got a couple of websites in the works right now that are going to also be focusing on this. Jenny's going to be very active in this group. For those of you that don't know Jenny Good has been working with me, alongside with me, really helped me bring the business to where it is, offering some of these really unique services that we've been offering as far as the mentoring and the coaching and the family support groups that we've created. Jenny's going to be posting in here somewhat on a weekly basis, whether that's going to be daily, every other day. Jenny knows if she asks me, I'll tell her to post in there 3 times a day. But Jenny's got other things she's got to focus on too. So she is going to be posting in here and keeping it pretty active. Just realized my face is hidden behind the click it. So let's move me up a little bit. But the point of this group, okay, this is a private group, so you can feel comfortable in here. It's a safe zone. This is not going to be a Facebook group where you're going to come in and just complain about how unfair the system is. And it's not fair that, they're only letting this many, the prison's locked down, the phone time is like this. I can't believe this. This isn't fair. I get it. Now we can talk about things like if you're like, hey, my loved one just got to prison. He's been there for 2 weeks. I haven't heard from him. What should I do? The point of this group is you guys have heard me from day one. Communities, method, people helping people. And the best way to do that is letting you guys know that you're not alone, letting you know that there is a group of like-minded individuals. Not that we're better than anybody else, not that you're above anybody else. It has nothing to do with, just because many of you have loved ones that are doctors, attorneys, accountants. Some of you are going to be in this group that might have a low-level drug offense, a first-time drug offense. But what you're going through, whether you're a first-time drug offender or first-time nonviolent offender for a drug crime, or you're a very, very wealthy white-collar individual first-time offender, the common denominator that we share here is this is the first time that you guys are experiencing going through this process. And it's not just the individual going to prison that is going to deal with the stress and the anxiety. It is also the loved one, the wife, the husband staying behind, the children, the mother, the son, the best friend. When we go through this and we watch our loved ones going through this, we go through it with them. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to make it any better. And now that they're gone and they're going away, who do we talk to? Yes, you can go talk to your friends, but many of them, unless they've been through this or they have somebody going through it. But again, the majority of the people that we deal with, they don't really have a vast circle of friends that are like, oh yeah, the BOP, this is what you do. This is how you check your emails. This is what happens on day one when they get there. This is what you can bring with you. You guys are looking for answers. And yes, I am a central hub of answers because I've been compiling this stuff for years. And a lot of the answers I have is thanks to all of you. So why not give all of you a voice? Why not give you guys a forum that you can be comfortable in and knowing that no one's going to mess with you. No one's going to tease you. There will be absolutely no abuse in this room. It's fair game, debate away. But the minute I see it going down a line of, making somebody feel less than, or your husband's only got a year and a day, or your husband's only got 6 months. You don't know what real time is. you're going to get booted out of the room, because I get it. 6 months is not the end of the world, but to the individual that never thought in a million years they would be serving a prison sentence as going for 6 months, right now in the moment, it does feel like the end of the world. It is relevant to how they feel. So I'm not here to diminish what somebody's going through. I found myself dealing with those same circumstances on both sides. On the front side, when I got to prison on a 42-month sentence, granted, I didn't serve 42 months, but nobody knew that I wasn't going to serve the majority of my time until things fell in place. But when I got to prison on a 42-month sentence to Coleman, I really felt like my world was over. But then I started meeting individuals that wished to God they only had a 42-month sentence. Well, just like that, I saw guys come in on rather short sentences, a year and a day. I saw a guy come in on a 6-month sentence, and they were still freaking out. And I was thinking to myself, man, you're so lucky. I wish I only had a 6-month sentence. So I'm not here to judge you for how you're feeling about the time that you have in front of you. Your loved ones, though, are going through this with you. So if you're watching this video right now and you might be getting ready to face a federal prison sentence, and you know that it's hard to really practice this empathy because of what you're going through, and you want to do what you can for your friends and family, guys, there's a link in the description of the video. I think Jenny already posted it. It's also in the live chat. There's a link, guys. It's free. There's no cost to become a member of the Facebook group. All right. This is to create a ran by members. You guys are going to control the content in here. We're going to be posting in there. We're going to post topics. We're going to want to hear from you guys. You can sit there and watch, never type, never say a word, or you can get as engaged as you want. You can share relevant information. You can share resources in here. The point is this gives you the ability to realize that you're no longer alone, and you've never been alone, but you don't know where to go. And where do you turn to? Jenny and I have been dealing with clients now for a couple of years on the aspect of doing the life coaching and the mindset coaching, where we try to provide as much resource as possible to help individuals, both that are going in and also the family members. Jenny also works with a lot of our clients' families after the clients go in. She does a lot of family sessions with them. It's not therapy, okay? We're not talking therapy. She's not a therapist. She's not a psychologist. This is life coaching. And the difference is for example, we'll have clients say, hey, we're probably going to hire, a therapist or something to help our family get through this after my husband or wife or father, or whoever it is that's going to go to prison. I want to find a way to cope through a lot of this. And what we've learned is generally, it's just, look, you're going to learn this yourself. If any of you have ever done counseling or therapy before, usually the therapist and the counselor, whoever you're dealing with, the psychologist, the psychotherapist, they usually have a very, very niche on how they deal with things. There's not a whole lot of professionals that are strongly versed in getting ready to go to prison and what that carries. So Jenny's abilities are, not only is she an amazing writer and super empathetic to what you're going through, but because of the work that we've done together, she's created tools and techniques and methods of what you can do to help yourself cope. So yes, you're not going to be going through a therapy session, but what I tell every client that says they're looking for a therapist, I say, look, go vet your therapist, but why not have a consultation with Jenny and see if you might find a fit for you? And it's not about what's cheaper and what's more expensive. It's about what's going to best suit your needs at the time. And I can tell you that what we provide, hands down, is so unique that you're going to find value in it. Even if you're using a therapist, you're going to find value. So what we're going to try to do is bring some of that energy and what Jenny and I do on a one-on-one basis. We're going to try to start sharing that also in the Facebook group, because it works for one, it might work for masses. And the cool thing is you guys are going to start to feel comfortable with each other. There's a mentoring group in here that you guys can, here, let me show it to you. So if you go to the main page here, you'll see you'll see the about us, you'll see the discussion, and you'll see mentorship. Now, this is a brand new group, so don't make fun of me because there's only a couple of members in here. But we're going to have a lot more members coming soon, guys, because I know you guys are all looking for support. So you can, seeking a mentor, you can, down at the bottom, you can become a mentor. If you've been dealing with this for a long time and you found that you love to help people and it's therapeutic for you and you want to give back, we can have a conversation. And if I feel you're a good fit, or if Jenny feels you're a good fit, you can become a mentor in here where you can pair up with people. and people can pair up with you and you guys can really share your stories, because there's nothing worse than feeling you're alone or you're embarrassed or you have this like, oh my God, I can't tell anybody, not just embarrassment, but ashamed. And what you'll realize is this overwhelming taboo feeling of nobody understands. And I can't talk to this to anybody. I have children that are going to maybe get teased in school. And what do I tell them about their father? This could really go down the road of you making the wrong choice of what you tell your child or what you do not tell your child. Maybe you're going to make little white lies and say, oh, daddy's off at work and mommy's off at work, or they're off in the army, they're on a business trip, and something happens. They trip across a Google or a Google review. They Google their name. You're on a phone call with them in prison. Some of you that haven't had the phone calls yet where you talk to your loved ones in prison every couple of minutes, all of a sudden a recording pops up and is like, this call is recorded from a federal prison. Well, what's a federal prison? It's going to generate questions. And unless your child is really, really small, I would say, depending on the child's level of like understanding, 7, 8, 9, once you start getting above that, depending on the child, they're not as quick to just buy everything you say. They might say that, but a lot of the times that's just because they sense something is wrong and they also want to avoid topics and they want to, not deal with the reality of this. So this might give you an outlet. It's private. It's a safe zone. You're not going to be judged. Any question can be asked in here. No question is going to be like, oh my God, that's such a bad question. And yes, I'm not a female, as you guys know. And here I am running a Prison Wives Facebook group. I'll tell you why I did it, guys. I'll tell you why I did it, because I don't really feel like there's anybody out there doing it the right way. There's a lot of good groups out there. I would say the best one that I found, some of you have probably seen Ro Clausen, Strong Prison Wives, I think. That might be the best one that I've seen. But, it's just not what I feel my clients, not just my clients, it's not what I feel like my viewership is looking for. I don't want to make it all about selling you something every 5 minutes. We are going to have some mastermind groups that we're going to be creating down the road where you guys that really want to get engaged and you really want to take it to the next level. We will start some mastermind groups that Jenny and I are working on right now. But for the most part, this Facebook group is solely going to be designed to give a very specific audience what they need. And there will be unique videos that go into this group. There will be videos that are only going to be in the Facebook group. So and it's going to be targeted towards that audience, obviously. But I'm telling you, husbands, wives, if you're getting ready to go to prison, definitely use this as a resource for your loved one, because I'm going to tell you what, right now, one of the biggest things that we see is once somebody goes in, and as much preparing as you think you're doing, you're leaving somebody behind. And you think that they're the lucky one because they're not going to prison. Well, I'm telling you what, it's a whole different level of prison for these individuals that are being left behind. Sometimes they've never dealt with paying bills on their own before. Just the awkwardness of not having their best friend around to talk to. Maybe they're not used to dealing with, the child 100% of the time. And now they've also got to work and pay bills. And, at the end of the day, you're off in prison and you're sending emails home about, I went to yoga and played a little basketball. I went and took a class. I'm working on myself. I'm getting my mental health and my physical shape better than it's ever been. And they're thinking, great. So basically you're on an effing vacation. I'm here to carry the weight of the world until you come home, which might be, a year, might be 3 years. We don't know what that's going to look like, or you don't know what that's going to look like, especially with COVID hammering the system. Resources. This is going to be a spot and it's going to grow. And I'm so excited to find, I don't know why I haven't done this sooner. I know why, because I'm a little bit procrastination when it comes to starting new projects. So let's see what we got going in the room. I don't anticipate this being a overly large video. This is probably one of those things that's a topic that somebody's looking at right now going, this doesn't apply to me. This applies to everybody going to federal prison, because everybody going to federal prison, unless you live in a damn cave by yourself, if you've got anybody on the outside that cares about you, they should be joining this group. Even if they don't ever intend on really engaging, you never know what might get posted in this group. We're not going to share anybody's identities. We're not going to share your stories. We might do a generalization of, hey, this topic happened to a person, but nothing about your identity would ever be released. So you're going to have complete safety in here to know that you're going to be protected, because we want you to feel safe in here. We want you to be able to share. It's what I learned in RDAP, the residential drug addiction program. One of my favorite things about RDAP, aside from getting the time off, my second favorite thing about RDAP was the community's method, was the sharing and hearing other people's stories and how it related and how it triggered thoughts and ideas and going, oh yes, I also experienced that, maybe not that severe, but I experienced it to a level, or hearing somebody's work through, or how they solved a problem going through something and realizing that's like, wow, that is a fantastic idea. Now I don't need to go recreate the wheel. So we are going to provide the best word that comes to mind is just fucking amazing. This is going to be something that's going to be truly amazing for you guys. I've had nothing but energy like pumping through my veins for the last few weeks. A part of that is there's a gentleman that lives very, very local to me. His name is Tommy, and he's got this amazing setup, Joe Rogan style setup studio, running his own YouTube channel / podcast on a wide variety of topics. But me and this guy really, really hit it off. He thinks what I'm doing is fantastic, and he's invited me to become part of his show and creating a new show, Dan and Tommy. We do it every Thursdays. It has nothing to do about prison. I mean, sometimes it might, but there's a link in the description for that too. So not to be too, you guys can go check that out. This was a quick, this is his little opening here. We shot our first episode this past Thursday. Dan and Tommy show. But as you can see here, let's skip in there. He's got a really cool setup, guys, and there's a link in the description if you want to go check it out. But that's not what this video is about. But the point is this. The point is the energy that I've got recently that's like revigorated my reason for making YouTube videos is I did get away from it a little bit. The videos get hard to make. How do you regurgitate content, right? You do the same content over and over and over again, different topics, but lately I've been getting some of the old school text messages from you guys. Cause my number is right there on the screen, 509-434-4695. And these text messages are, your videos have calmed me so much, that I don't know what I would have done without you. And some of the stuff is so basic. Like, I don't know how to expect a lady asked me to make a video on how to purchase books and send books. I'm sure she can figure it out, but there's so much anxiety and so many unknown, what do I do next, that the last thing you're thinking about early on is how you're going to do this. And you don't realize until the person's gone that, I need to send them books. How do I do this without the books getting rejected? Not that it's the end of the world if a book gets rejected, but you're realizing that how stressful all of this is. And now when you start adding minor issues into the mix, these minor issues become kind of big, because it's like, I didn't think about this. And you start realizing all of the little things. So when I see these text messages from you guys on how thankful you are and how appreciative you are, it reminds me of why I started doing this. Who would have thought this was going to turn into a business model? Whoever would have thought that I would have taken this so serious that it was going to go from a little hobby to a full-blown career where I'm not only able to help, thousands of people, but I'm also able to now provide livings for other people that have jobs because we're able to provide content. And I have people like Jenny and Shelly and Diane, Tom, all of these individuals that really care about what we do, and they care about outcomes. I know some of you get frustrated. Sometimes things don't move too fast. And I'm always very honest with everybody. I'll tell you guys, if I'm to drop the ball, I'll be the first one to own up to it. If I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to own up to it. I try to use technology as best I can to make sure that I'm not missing appointments. Sometimes, an appointment gets overlooked. I miss it. You guys will text me. We'll hop on a call. It happens. The good thing is, though, is you guys are always going to get a call. You're always going to get an email. You're always going to get somebody to respond to you. And I know as a consumer, one of my biggest, frets going into an industry and getting ready to hire somebody for something is always, what happens after I give them my money? Are they going to disappear? Are they still going to take my calls? Are they going to be just as interested? And that's probably the common thing. Jenny and I were just talking about this today. We've heard a lot of chatter from clients who are very unsatisfied with some of them have hired other consultants. And, you know, great sales pitch. And what a horrible word to use when somebody's getting ready to go to prison. Like, we got Sean Cowgill in here. What's going on, Sean? You guys can also go check out Club Fed True Stories by Sean Cowgill. Sean Cowgill was a fucking mess before he went to prison. He'll tell you, a disaster. Somebody that probably is grateful to be walking the face of the earth today with some of the choices that he was making before he went to prison. And Sean will tell you that the choices that he's making now after prison have a lot to do with what he went through and how life has recreated itself and represented and given new opportunity, new meaning. So I don't want to use the word opportunity as like a way to go out and make a living for yourself. We all have to make a living, but opportunity also presents itself to rethink what we do and why we do it. And it seems like Sean is really utilizing YouTube. And Sean reached out to me a couple of weeks back. He's been doing his YouTube channel for a while now. And Sean reached out to me and he was like, hey, I didn't know my YouTube channel was going to get busy or get this many views. And you know, I'm kind of, should I tell my probation officer? What should I say to him? You know, and these type of thought processes come from the old way of thinking. We think that we should just, you know, do what we want and then ask for forgiveness later. Well, in the real world, that can work, right? When you've never been in trouble, when you're not under the microscope, what's the worst that's going to happen? Somebody might get ticked off or aggravated with you, but it creates a series of bad habits. It creates a series of bad thoughts. And Sean was freaking out over this because he's been doing so good and trying so hard and realized that he intentionally didn't tell his probation officer, probably out of fear of his probation officer wouldn't let him do it. And he really wanted to make videos, but he also didn't really think he was going to get a lot of traction. Now he did go talk to his probation officer and his probation officer was like, fucking A, go do it. But that was my advice to Sean, was like, dude, tell your probation officer. He might already know. And you're not doing anything bad. Your videos are educational. You're not bashing anybody. You're doing the right thing. And I think that's the message that we all can take from this is if we're going to prison and you've got a loved one that you're leaving behind, you got to remember that they are just watching this happen to you. And when you're so self-absorbed and pity party and boohoo about me, and I can't believe this is happening, this is so unfair, how do you think they're feeling? You know, we'll take a wife for an example. And I'm not saying that only wives deal with this. There's plenty of husbands that deal with this as well. And plenty of husbands that are watching their husbands go to prison, and plenty of wives that are watching their wives go to prison, right? So we're not discriminating against anybody here, but the majority of individuals we see are males with wives going to prison. And out of the white collar, a lot of these white collar men have women that really relied on them for a lot of different measures of support, whether it be financial support, emotional support, just, you know, being there. And then we've also have women that are like, I make my own money. It sucks that my husband's going to prison because this is really screwing things up and I got to explain things to the kids and this isn't what I signed up for. I'm telling you, you don't want to wait till you go to prison to start having these conversations with your loved one, because they might wake up one day and go, I didn't sign up for this. And there's no clause that says I have to stay married to you. So if you really want to work on your marriage or your relationship with whoever it is, I'm telling you, taking your ownership now and taking heed of other people's mistakes and realizing that there's a very, very good chance that you put yourself in the situation that you're in, or there's, at the very least, there are things you could have fucking done a lot different that you probably won't do again in the future, and you won't be in the situation again. Let's check some of these questions out here. Let's see, we got Boston on here. Hi, Dan. It's Dante from Boston. I was going to do the compassionate release motion, but my lawyer said he would handle it. But I just wanted to say thank you. If I ever want to see a case of change, I give you all the details. Awesome. You know, and that's the thing is when you guys do consultations with us, clearly Boston is somebody that did a consultation with us for motion for compassionate release. I will tell you, Boston, this is what I'll tell anybody, and this is not, again, To use the word sales pitch is fucking horrible when you have to use the word sales pitch, because it sounds like all I want is you guys to sign up with me. And that's not the truth. Yes, we want your business, but only if it's the best alternative for you. When an attorney says they're going to do, I'll do the motion for you on compassionate release. What I would say is, we just had this happen. We just had an attorney do a motion, and the thing was so bad, not bad because the attorney doesn't know how to write motions, so bad because what the attorney in the industry that they're talking about now on a motion for, let's say it's for COVID, right? It's for COVID relief. Maybe you've got a bunch of illnesses, or you've got all these reasons why you should be considered for compassionate release. If the attorney is not extremely well versed in how this plays out, and extremely well versed in what the government's likely response could be, your motion could just be shredded apart. And if you go to prison, and now your attorney's doing this, it's going to be real hard to communicate. So what I would suggest to everybody is, when your motion is completed, before you file it, send it over. We will give you we'll review it. Tom will go through this thing. He'll give you a review on it. It's not going to give you any legal advice, but it'll tell you if the thing's going to hold water, or if it's got a bunch of holes in it, and why the holes are there. So maybe you can bring this information back to your attorney. I feel that giving as much as we can, in the end, it's why a lot of people end up hiring us, if you want to be real. We've had people that have hired other consultants that claim to be, the white collar cream of the crop, and they get these motions, and it's just, wow. It's kind of jaw dropping to see it. So man, do your due diligence, let somebody else review this thing, because you might look at it and go, yeah, this sounds great, but you're probably not the best person to be judging these things. So Dante, feel free, when the motion's completed, if you tell your attorney you want to review it first, and feel free, send it over. Take Tom, an afternoon to review it and give you some feedback. NS, if I go to prison in Texas after my sentence, how can I be released to Washington? All you got to do is put in for a change of address. When you get to Texas, tell them why you need to go to Washington. There's got to be a good reason. And then they will either transfer your probation, or they'll transfer your probation to be monitored in Washington when you get there. But that's really, that's exactly what I did. Who was that again? That was NS. I went to prison in Florida, case was out of Georgia, sentenced in Georgia, but I lived in Florida. And while I was in prison, I put in a request to go to Washington State, and it was approved. And the BOP actually flew me to Washington. But if you put in your change of address beforehand, they might send you to a prison in the West Coast, which is closer to your release address. So feel free. There's also, I didn't put the link. I'll add that. If you guys text me, if you want to set up a free consultation, I forgot to put the link in the description for the consultation, but you can also go to my website, federalprisontime.com, and there's a consultation link right on there. Free consultation. Sue Walter. Thank you, Sue. Awesome. Any help with compassionate release? Sue, yes, send us a message, send us a text. Sue, make sure you join our Facebook group. Guys, the whole reason for this video, I might have gotten off the beaten path a little bit because I get so excited, but the whole purpose of this is we've created a brand new Facebook group that is going to be specifically for, it's a support group for prison wives, family members of people going into prison. We really want to kind of focus on, the first time nonviolent offenders. I'll recap a little bit for those of you that are just joining us. I absolutely have zero interest in people joining this chat room because they want to talk about how unfair it is that they can't go to visitation, or that the phone calls or the phones have been shut off, or the commissary is not. We can talk about that. You can ask questions about it. But the minute it becomes like just a spot to go and vent your anger for how upset you are, that's not helping you. Okay. That's a situation that you can't undo right now. So we want to focus on what we do have control over, and we want to share positivity with how you're getting through this. What struggles are you dealing with on your day-to-day? How are you handling with your children? What's going on with working, with kids, with school, with COVID? How are you coping? And how are you able to talk to other people? How are you coming out of your box? How are you awakening yourself and realizing that most of you are so much stronger than you give yourselves credit for, that you're going to find this new wild energy that you never had before. And most of you, I'm talking about the support for the loved ones going to prison. Those of you that are out are going to realize how much stronger you really are than you ever thought, to where you're going to realize you can handle a lot of this stuff on your own. You just need to find a group of people that are also dealing with it. Sometimes you just need to hear that somebody else is doing it, so can you. Break through that glass ceiling. Don't limit yourself. Don't think that, you're never going to be able to do this on your own. Don't awfulize. Don't create problems that don't exist. Avoid some of these hurdles, man. Don't make your situation so bad by awfulizing and putting that negative energy out there. We're going to be posting about positive books, positive affirmations. And if this is the kind of stuff that you go, it's bullshit, gag. I'm telling you, I used to feel the same way until that magical man named Tony Robbins got a hold of me and kind of changed my whole life, turned it upside down. And then the Bible found me. And now every time I look, I'm able to see something positive, something I can always find the good, no matter what it is. I look at everything as a test. Things are put in front of us to see how we're going to deal with it. We talk about why we'll see, why does God create babies that have all of these illnesses, or they just die 6 months after they're born? What kind of person would do that? Because we're looking at it as something, we're creating this illusion of it, that maybe that's not what it really is. Maybe we're given tests and tasks to see and to prove how strong we are, and that we have the ability to overcome anything when we put our mind to it. And when we challenge ourselves and we stop getting complacent and we stop making excuses and we stop blaming everything else for the situation we're in, and we stop talking about how unfair it is that I can't go to visitation, when we stop complaining about these meaningless things and we start spreading, the gossip of good word. I don't mean the gossip of religious terms, gossiping about positivity and how we're dealing with it. And that's why I'm looking so forward to the mastermind group, because we're really going to be able to dig in deep on this. And the individuals that are going to be in this group, these are willing participants that want to exceed further in life, that want to do things. And if I have the ability to do this, guys, holy shit, because I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. Some of you might already know that. Some of you might have had conversations with me where you're like, this is the guy we hired, huh? But I'll tell you what, I've got a rock solid team behind me that when I drop the ball, they're right there watching. A lot, and I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. So I focus on my weaknesses. I push myself to do the things that are uncomfortable. And I'm really upset that my green screen has this green tint behind me. I'm working so hard on this green screen, guys. I'm really trying. Let's see what we got. I'm about to wrap this video up, guys. But Jenny, if you're still in the room, Jenny, calling Jenny. If you can post the Facebook group one more time in here. And if not, if I don't see Jenny do it, I got you. Let's see here. Sean, you're awesome, brother. Appreciate that. Let's see. Let's read Sean's message. Dan helped me so much before I went to prison, and he even helped me while I was in. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that, man. And Sean was never a client. Sean never paid me a dime. He's just a guy that was going through his struggle, and that's why this whole idea of fellowship and, mankind, womankind, I believe everybody has the ability to do different. You might have somebody in your life right now who's a complete POS, worst person, takes advantage of everybody. But I'm telling you, there's going to come a time and place when that person is going to realize it and they're going to want to make a change. And we have to extend a hand out to these people, because when people are ready to change, we have to be willing to forgive. Forgiveness is a hard thing to do, but God, does it feel so fucking good. Jenny just posted it. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. Guys, so make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you come follow us on the new Facebook group. We're going to be revamping all kinds of stuff. Jenny doesn't even know it, but I bought all kinds of URLs so Jenny can build us a nice fancy website for this white collar prison wives support group. So she's going to have her work cut out for her, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting, People Up in People, Communities Method, one day at a time. I hope you guys all have an amazing week. I'm going to try to get another video out this weekend. If not, tomorrow I will be doing a video on the Dan and Tommy Show, which there's a link in the description of this video to that channel. Come follow it. It's a lot of fun. I just get to be an idiot. I get to dress like an idiot, and I don't have to really worry about what I'm saying. And it could be talking about anything. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Be safe, everybody. Jenny, thank you very much for hanging on with us. All right, guys, peace.